BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey, I'm Sam. I'm your Thursday guy for BodyBags, and this week I am doing 4 In the End Only Men. The Hitcher came out in 1986, and I guess before I talk about the movie, when I was, alright, so this week, I was picking this week, and the original idea that I had was, and for the most part, you go watch a horror movie, I guess primarily slasher movies, but, in general, you go watch a horror movie, it's usually, a nice young lady who's the last one, and I was like, I think there should be some ones where it's a nice young gentleman, So I had originally called it Final Guys, but, it's, that would have to imply it would be a slasher movie, and it's like, I didn't see it as, like, just a slasher movie, it's just like I saw it as, like, a, just all the horror genres, as long as a guy that's left, like one guy, or maybe 2 or 3, right, kind of thing, or whatever, right? It's like Jaws, The Thing, The Hitcher. As you can see, I got the VHS copy right here, but I didn't watch the VHS version. I watched the YouTube version, although I wouldn't be surprised if they both have the same quality. Yeah, this was a movie that I saw a long time ago, and it was one of those movies I couldn't really go and forget because they showed so much without showing everything, kind of thing. Like, you knew everything that happened, but you didn't have to see it, kind of thing. For example, well, I'm not gonna tell you, for example, because I would spoil the crap out of the movie, and you don't even know what it's about yet. Let me tell you what it's about. So, if I could turn the light on, okay. When Jim Halsey stops to pick up a hitcher one rainy night, he is soon dying to turn back time. The man puts a knife to Jim's throat as he tells him to pull past a stranded car on the side of the road. Its occupants have already been brutally slaughtered by the ominous stranger. Now a bloody game of cat and mouse is about to be played out on this desolate stretch of highway, and every car that passes and every poor soul who rides that road are going to take part whether they want to or not. Terror alert. Actually, I can't because I would spoil the ending. That sucks. I don't get why they had to say that. So the 2 main actors in this movie, Thomas Howell, I'm not sure what he's in. This must have been one of his first movies or whatever. He plays the protagonist of the movie, right? He plays Jim. And the other actor is Rutger Hauer. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I know he's a really big actor, or at least a big actor that everyone kind of knows, but I couldn't name you something that he's specifically in. He was in Blade Runner. I remember that. But that's about it. I'm sure that he's in a lot of other stuff that are probably really big or whatever. I can't think of it right now. I don't think so, But Rutger, he plays the killer. He plays the man. He plays John. That's it's like John something. Earlier on in the movie, he tells the protagonist his name. It's like John something, I think. Now, I'm not going to tell you every single detail about it. I guess before I go on about it, I want to tell you my rating and my thought about it, and then I could go on, a little deeper on it. I think this is a really nice movie with a lot of nice features to it. And I think it's one of my favorite things about a movie where it's like, okay, it's nice to see the practical effects and whatnot, but like, if you can show without showing, and it's like really good, like, I mean, this movie is rated R. if they showed what we did, if they showed what was not seen, this might be X, honestly. Just because there would be a lot more blood and a lot more practical effects, and then, like, it would just look like the movie would be like, whoa, especially at the ending. But yeah, there's not really much blood in the movie, that much anyway, and when there is, it's, not much, right? What was I saying? Oh yeah, if I had to rate this movie right now, I probably am gonna give it like an 8 out of 10, honestly. But I think I need to start kind of like having a system where it's like, maybe it is still like, maybe I should change it, my ranking system, so it's like like 1 to 5 stars kind of thing. And like, there's like 4 or 5 different like categories, and then, you take out, it's like you have the plot, music, dialogue, whatever. And then, whatever each point is, you add it all up and divide it by the 4 or 5 categories, and then that would be your ranking. I should do something like that. But, not that I'm just saying it just to say it, but it's just kind of how I feel about the movie. And I really like this movie. I think y'all should watch it. It is on YouTube, and it is free. I don't think there's any commercials. It's about 1:30, so that's pretty good. But who knows how long it'll last on YouTube free, because it's not YouTube, it's some channel that put it up. I might even have it in the description, honestly. But anyway, so I'm gonna start talking about the movie now. If you haven't seen it before, you should probably go watch the movie. But if you don't really care that much about it, then, I guess I'll tell you all the cool stuff that you won't be missing out. So, as I said earlier, there's not that much blood in it, but it is an interesting concept that you have this main character that no one knows, that everyone kind of thinks he's the killer. He's the one that's killing all these people. But, like, he's not. He's just, there's the guy that's chasing him, and only people, only people, like, at the very end understand that, oh, he's not the killer. He's not the, it's actually this other guy kind of thing. But, I suppose by that point it's a bit too late. About the middle of the movie, Jim meets this girl, and, they kind of hit it off, and, they're they're driving away from the cops are chasing them, and it's like bullets flying all over the place, and then, they escape, and they find a place to crash, and, our guy goes to take a shower, and oh no, the killer is there, and he kidnaps the girl. And when when our character's out of the shower, he goes and realizes, oh, I gotta go save her. But like, when he goes and finds her, the killer straps her to her hands, or she straps her hands to like the truck that he's about to go drive, and her feet to some other truck. So all it takes is, driving off, and then she's dead kind of thing, because she's going to be ripped in half. And how the scene plays out is that the cops are there, and they finally kind of like realize, oh, that's actually, this boy is actually not the killer. Ooh, crazy. Who'd have known, right? Oh, wow. He has to go and sit by the killer, in the car, in the truck, and try to, like, that was spooky. Try to, get the killer to, stop. But I guess one thing throughout the movie that's really interesting is that the first time they meet each other, the killer wants to kill the kid. And then as the movie kind of goes along, it more turns to the killer wants the kid to kill him. So in this scene near the end of the movie, when they're both in the truck, the killer gives the kid a gun and tells him to kill him, but the kid doesn't kill him because, because I think the kid doesn't want to, like, have blood on his hands. I get it, he's the killer, but blood's blood, at least in my opinion anyway. And so it's, it's like sometimes you gotta do it, but it's just, gotta have the consciousness to be like, I just killed someone kind of thing, In which, sometimes it's like, they deserved it. Sure, but like, a lot of people deserve a lot of things. doesn't mean, death be upon him kind of thing. I'm not defending the guy. I'm just, in general. The guy deserves to die. He killed a lot of people. And he's a sick guy who wants the young kid to kill him, but the young kid can't. So he decides, instead of him killing him, he decides to drive off, and she rips in half. But you don't see it. You don't see her rip in half. All you see the truck drive off, and you hear a tad bit of, and it's like, oh no, kind of thing, because it's like, that's just terrible. And so then our kid gets a little bloodthirsty. He's like, well, this is it. And after the police detain the guy and they're about to go and drive him off somewhere else, the kid's like, I gotta go finish business. And when he goes and chases down where the cops are taking the guy, he already took over that truck, and he was just waiting for the kid to show up. And then they have, like, a shoot-off near the end, and, yeah, the kid wins. Kid ends up killing him. Which is funny, because, so he hits him. He gets in the car, and he hits him, and the bad guy flies off. And he gets out of the car and, looks at the bad guy, and he looks dead. He has a shotgun pointing at him, but, seems like he's dead kind of thing. So he starts walking away, kind of showing, like, you know what, I'm not going to kill you. Or I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to double check. He starts walking off, and the killer gets back up, and then he shoots him, like, 2 or 3 times with the shotgun, and then the guy's actually dead. And then it ends with him leaning on a car as the credits start rolling up. As I said earlier, I find it interesting that, like, it's just the killer, like, he wants the kid to kill. And, like, throughout the movie, the kid finds himself in different situations where he's, like, blamed, where he looks like he's the suspicious imposter kind of thing, right? I said imposter. Where he looks like he's the killer, and he's not, he's been framed kind of thing. And it's like, the kid wants to kind of stay, in a sense, pure. And then by the end of the movie, he's not really pure anymore. I guess that's a way of putting it. Probably a poor way of putting it, but that's the way I'm putting it. They made a sequel. I never saw the sequel, but it's supposed to be like a 10 or 15 years later kind of thing. And then they made a remake. I don't know who plays the kid, and I forget the name of the guy that plays the Hitcher, but he was someone that was in Lord of the Rings, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I found this movie really interesting, and this was one of those movies that I saw a very, very long time ago. When, I say very, very, very long time ago, not really. This would be one of those horror movies that you, like, if you and your kid were starting to watch horror movies together, and you're trying to go from the tamest to the, not so tamest, this would be one of those movies you start off with, because it's not really gory, it's not really bloody, there is a lot of language, and there's no, like, extra stuff. But when it's all said and done, you still know what happens, you still have the premise, you still understand X, Y, Z, and I say it's a really good movie still. Would it be better if they showed a lot of the stuff? Maybe, because, that would have to take some effects, especially the very end at the girl that gets split in half. That would have been very interesting to see. But then again, it's like, would that take away from the mystery? And I say mystery, you know what happens, but you don't see it. It's kind of like when you're reading a book. You're like, you're picturing it in your mind, how the author is portraying it. But everyone, to a degree, is kind of, portraying it a bit differently. But when you go and watch a movie, it's, everyone's getting the same thing. The only difference is how everyone's receiving the message kind of thing, Some takes it that way, someone takes it that way. The only time where there's still some kind of mystery left is when there's stuff that happens that you don't see, But you understand that just happened. And it's a very interesting thing. I'm not really sure how to go and, like, put it, but, yeah, maybe you'll understand what I'm, like, going about. But anyway, this has been a 15-minute review. And y'all are probably bored. You're like, oh my gosh, stop talking. Please stop talking. Please stop talking. Well, I'm going to stop talking now. I just got to go figure out what I'm going to do for next week because it's so random. But anyway, I'm Sam. I'm your Thursday guide for BodyBags. I did the Hitcher for In the End Only Men. And I gave it an 8 out of 10, or maybe an 8.5 out of 10. I really like this movie, and you should watch it, and it's free on YouTube, and you should go watch it, because it's free on YouTube. It's about an hour and 30 minutes, and it's just great stuff. I'll see y'all next week. Goodbye.